This wasn't just a football match. This was chaos, brilliance, and pure Champions League madness colliding in one unforgettable night. When Paris Saint-Germain faced Bayern Munich in Paris, nobody expected a 5-4 scoreline in a semi-final first leg of the UEFA Champions League. But what we witnessed wasn't normal football. It was a statement about what the modern game can still be at its highest level. Right from kickoff, the tone was clear. This was not going to be a cautious, tactical chess match. This was two elite teams choosing to attack, to take risks, and to trust their firepower rather than hide behind structure. And that decision alone changed everything. Because for the past few years, one of the biggest criticisms of top-level football has been control over creativity, systems over spontaneity. But this game rejected that completely. Players weren't thinking about not losing. They were thinking about winning, every second, every touch, every run forward. And that mindset created a spectacle that reminded everyone why football is called the beautiful game. Now tactically, you could argue this game was flawed. Defensive lines were exposed. Fullbacks were stretched. Transitions were chaotic. But here's the deeper truth. It wasn't just bad defending. It was elite attacking. Look at the individual battles. Ousmane Dembélé constantly destabilizing the defensive shape. Harry Kane delivering clinical presence in the box. Nuno Mendes and Achraf Hakimi, two of the best attacking fullbacks in world football, being pushed to their physical limits. These are not average players being exposed. These are elite players being overwhelmed by even greater attacking intensity. And that's what makes this game so fascinating to analyze. Because when you see a 5-4 scoreline, the easy narrative is defensive disaster. But this wasn't that simple. Most of the goals came from moments of brilliance, perfectly timed runs, unstoppable finishes, and high-speed combinations that no defensive structure in the world could fully contain. Yes, you can break down moments, positioning errors, delayed tracking, slight hesitations, but none of these were catastrophic mistakes. Instead, they were the result of constant pressure. When attacking quality reaches that level, defenders are forced into impossible decisions. That's why even experienced analysts like Thierry Henry and Jamie Carragher leaned into the entertainment rather than over-criticizing the structure. Because sometimes, football analysis has to step back and acknowledge something simple. This was special. And the atmosphere played a huge role. In Paris, the energy wasn't just loud, it was electric. The pace of the game matched the intensity of the crowd. End-to-end transitions felt like waves crashing one after another. Players didn't have time to think, only to react. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The psychology of the result. Despite winning 5-4, PSG didn't look fully satisfied. That's unusual, but it tells you everything about this tie. Conceding 4 goals at home in a semi-final changes the narrative. It gives belief to Bayern. It keeps the tie completely open. And when you look at Bayern's reaction, their players, their fans, they felt like they were still very much alive. Because they are. A 1-goal deficit heading into Munich? That's nothing for a team like Bayern. Especially considering how they played. They didn't sit back. They didn't get dominated. They matched PSG blow for blow. And that sets up something dangerous for the second leg. Because both teams have now shown their identity, and neither of them is going to change. This is key. Some managers, after a high-scoring game like this, would tighten up. They would adjust, become more cautious, try to control the damage. But everything we've seen suggests that won't happen here. These teams are built to attack. It's in their DNA. So when people predict another 4-4 or another goalfest, it's not unrealistic. It's logical. Because structurally, both teams accept risk as part of their strategy. Their fullbacks push high. Their wingers stay aggressive. Their midfield prioritizes progression over protection. And that creates space. Space that elite players will always exploit. Now let's go deeper into what could decide the second leg. First, physicality. Players like Mendes and Hakimi were visibly exhausted by the end. Cramps, fatigue, that's not just fitness. That's the cost of playing this kind of football at this intensity. And in Munich, the physical demand will be even higher. Second, marginal decisions. In a game this open, small moments become huge. A referee call, a defensive hesitation, a mischance. These are the details that decide chaos matches. Third, mentality. This is the biggest one. Who handles the pressure better? Because now, the stakes are clearer. One game away from a Champions League final. One mistake could end everything. And yet, both teams have shown they don't know how to play safe. And that's why this tie feels so unique. It's not just about tactics. It's about philosophy. Attack versus attack. Risk versus risk. Belief versus belief. And maybe that's why this match felt so refreshing. Because for once, at the highest level, football wasn't about minimizing errors. It was about maximizing greatness. Even Peter Schmeichel predicted something crazy before the game. And while nobody expected exactly this, he understood the nature of these teams. When you combine attacking quality, confidence, and freedom, you don't get control. You get chaos. Beautiful chaos. And now, everything shifts to Munich. The second leg won't just be a continuation. It will be an escalation. More intensity. More pressure. More moments. And if this first leg taught us anything, it's this. Do not expect normal football. Expect something unforgettable.